Everybody, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new, welcome. So today I'm gonna be working on my 04 6.0 Power Stroke. We're putting in this Mishimoto radiator, same with their thermostat housing and thermostat, so 185, and also the Extreme Diesel Performance fuel pressure regulator return kit. So I'll do a time lapse of everything, and yeah, let's get started. Alright, so I got the radiator out. Now would be a good time to replace your water pump. I would get one through Bulletproof Diesel. They're all billet. So yeah, on the 2003 to 04s, it's a 90 millimeter, and then on the 04.5 to 07 is 100. So just make sure that you check to see what year your truck is, that way you can get the right one. And so when you go to replace your water pump, you're just gonna have to pull your radiator, obviously, your clutch fan, and then this other shroud. There's 4 bolts for the water pump, and then an O-ring for it, so it doesn't need any gasket seal or anything like that. You pull it out, put the new one in, and you're good to go. Alright, so I got the driver's side fuel line off. I don't know if you can see it, but right down in there, might be kind of hard to see. And then these are the supply lines for the front, and they're the same size for both sides. This side with the washer goes into the head, and then this side right here goes into the fuel filter housing. So when you go to pull the passenger side fuel line off, you have to unbolt it from right here on the intake manifold. And then also your fan shroud, or the back of the fan shroud, you have to pull the 2 bolts out behind the clutch fan, which are right there and right there. So you pull those 2 out, kind of pull it forward, and you just got to slide it out from back and behind the belt on the alternator and your supply line for your heater core. And then it should just slide right out, and then the new line that goes into the head right here. See my finger. Oops. It goes into the head right there. You can go up and behind your alternator, or up and underneath your alternator, and then come out right here. So I'm gonna get that side on, and then I'll do the back 2 supply lines. Alright, you also have to pull your transmission cooler connectors out and put them in the new radiator. And then you also have to trim your shroud. Let's trim a little bit of it off, just so it fits on there better, slides down in there farther, and then it's just cools it more efficient. That way you don't get no air that's coming out of the sides. It's just getting all pulled directly into the radiator. That way it cools the truck a lot easier. So yeah, I'll pull these out, and then we'll put the new radiator in. Alright, so I got the fittings out, put some new pipe dope on there, thread them into the new radiator, and then slide it in the truck. Alright, it fits a little bit better, but you still got to push it down a little bit just to get the holes to line up. Might have to Dremel these just a tiny bit. So yeah, we'll just get that Dremeled up and then throw it in the truck. Alright, so I got the return lines done and hooked on to the fill filter housing, and then you got to put the plug in for the return line, because that one goes over here to your regulator return for your regulator. Now I just got to undo my Y pipe and kind of let it swing back, or I can move it from side to side and put my two 90-degree elbows in, which are right here. These ones right here, and those screw in the back of the head. And then your fuel line screws into this one right here, and then they go over to your regulator. So slide up underneath the truck and loosen up the Y pipe bolts off the manifold. Alright, so I got the Y pipe moved out of the way. Now if you can see up in there, the fitting is right there. So you have to just tighten the supply line and then the jam nut. And then I'll probably just turn the key on and let it cycle before I put the Y pipe back in there, just in case there's any leaks. Just make it easier to tighten it up. Alright, I'll cycle the key, see if there's any fuel leaks. Nothing in the front. Nothing over here. So we should be good. I didn't see any in the back. Alright, so when you go to put your V-band clamps back on your Y pipe, you just want to leave it loose on the Y pipe at the manifolds. That way, when you go to bolt it together, this makes it a lot easier. Instead of, see how it clicks in there, instead of it being tight down at the manifolds, it just makes it harder, because then you got to try to work against it and make sure you get a good seal. And that's where you'll have boost leaks. So just make sure you leave it loose at the manifolds and then bolt it on up here with the V-band clamp, tighten it up. All right, everybody, so I got everything all buttoned up on the truck. Sorry I didn't film it. It was just my GoPro died, so I wanted to finish up the truck. So I got everything done. It's all put back together. Now we'll just take it for a quick test drive. Make sure we don't have no leaks or anything like that. So let's fire this thing up. Let's do a quick look, make sure I'm not leaking any fluids. Nothing underneath. Up in the corner. Like and subscribe. Until next time.